Welcome back to Unfiltered. COVID cases and hospitalization numbers are surging in the UK right now amongst its senior population. This, despite the country's high rates of vaccination, boosters, and even prior infection. Joining me now is physician and chief of ethics at the Unity Project, Dr. Aaron Cariati. Doctor, thanks for joining us. My first question for you, if the vaccines are working so well, then why aren't they working so well, doctor? I mean, the UK data seems to point to some negative efficacy here. What's going on?
That's correct. The negative vaccine efficacy means not only are they not working, but they may even be enhancing people's risk of infection, sort of working backwards. And the UK is not the only place that we've seen it. We've seen it in Ontario. We've seen signs of it in Israel and other highly vaccinated regions. And Dan, we actually don't know whether it might also be happening here in the US. And the reason we don't know is that the CDC is no longer releasing their data comparing vaccinated to unvaccinated cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. In fact, they told a spokesperson for the CDC told the New York Times a few weeks ago the reason that they're not releasing that data anymore that we've seen throughout the pandemic is they have worries that it's not ready for prime time because it might increase vaccine hesitancy. So what's going on here? Why are these basic metrics being withheld from the American people? If we look elsewhere, we're starting to see signs of the failure of this mass vaccination campaign with this negative vaccine efficacy.
Doctor, I'm hearing a lot about original antigenic sin, antibody-dependent enhancement. Could that have something to do with it? Could you explain in layman's terms to what that means?
Yeah, that's exactly right. These two explanations are not mutually exclusive, so it could be both of them as well. Antigenic imprinting, or original antigenic sin, is where the vaccine focuses the immune system too narrowly on the original spike protein, which is no longer in circulation. So the analogy I use is trying to hit a clay pigeon with a rifle that misses the target instead of a shotgun, right? Our immune system becomes too narrowly focused on something that is not around anymore, and other aspects of the immune system get suppressed. Antibody-dependent enhancement is another phenomenon that we've seen with other viruses like the swine flu and the dengue virus. This is where basically your body makes antibodies, but they're suboptimal antibodies, again, because they're directed against that spike protein from the original variant. So with a new variant, you get this kind of imperfect antibody binding. And what it does is actually enhances the ability of the virus to enter into your human cells and infect you. So this is two potential downsides of the mass vaccination campaign that some voices early on worried we hadn't done adequate testing to see if one or another or both of these phenomena might occur. We just went full steam ahead, and now we're seeing evidence that these types of problems might be emerging.
Doctor, I only got about 30 seconds left, but there's a lot of concern about growing about these lipid nanoparticles, this delivery system for the vaccine potentially maybe being involved in an inflammatory response. Your thoughts on that?
The lipids get into cells all over the body, and the Japanese version of the FDA did an animal study to see where this thing was distributed in the body after vaccination. And the highest concentration of the lipid nanoparticles in that study was found in the female ovary. Given the connection to menstrual irregularities that we're hearing about reported, there are worries that this thing that was supposed to stay in the deltoid didn't stay there. It went throughout the body and could have effects on other organ systems.
Doctor, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Coming up next on Unfiltered.